Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 12 of What If Naruto Found the Uzumaki Curse. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and stay in tune for the rest of the What Ifs coming your way for Anime King. And also for Anime King 2. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Shibuki of Taki was not reporting that his Jinjulki was missing. After all, given the state of the world right now, no nations were that equally allied. The only reason why they had a say and can protect their lands was because they had the 7 tails, because of action in the past regarding Hoshirama. So if they were to release this information that the 7 tails was gone, well, it would be bad for them, making them look weak. While the said girl was currently making her way, as she arrived towards Uzu. Upon arriving there, she met up with Iniri. After all, the first place that Naruto turned after returning was the Land of Wave. As Iniri, Tsunami, all of them were there. But not just them, there was so much more there. People from all over the Elemental Nation, including several clans that stick by themselves. One of those being the Fuma clan, another one being the Tenchi clan. There were a lot of them. As these people were on their one mindset, one hierarchy, as there was one person that came to them. He promised them a new way of living. He promised them a greater ambition. In the 6 months that he's been missing, Naruto Uzumaki went all over the Elemental Nation, unknown to everyone, and did many things that will change the foreseeable future of the Elemental Nation. Fu smiled to herself as she just couldn't wait until he returned. Back at the village Sakura, she was hearing rumors all around. It turns out that a few people Naruto placed in the hospital died, and now the people wanted him dead. Her mother and father were going by the same principle as well, as they seemed to know these people, but she knew Naruto and how violent he was, so she hoped they didn't try anything stupid, as she didn't want them to get hurt. They were her parents after all. She had to talk to Naruto about this. Jiraiya had to go and talk to Harrison as he never knew that the situation was that bad regarding Naruto and the people in the hospital. He never knew that the kid had went that far to attack the civilians of the village. Well, due to the circumstances, because of what happened, Naruto would not get any blame, given the fact that they were the ones that first stepped towards him, but the way he did them was just, it was unbefitting for a ninja. He had the power to subdue them, but yet he decided to massacre them. The time finally came around as the Raikage had came to Konoha along with the Kazekage to watch the events of the Chunin exams turn out, as it was going to be rather spectacular. The first match was Naruto and Neji, as Naruto was not there. The Raikage was rather disappointed. It seems that the boy was a coward, unlike his father, as no one saw Naruto anywhere. That is when the sky darkened. The Raikage saw something intriguing. Electricity rained down from the heavens and struck a part of the arena. Standing there was none other than Naruto, as he was more fitting for someone in his village, given his bulky stature, and he was as tall as Raikage it seems. As Naruto stood there in front of Neji, as Naruto told him that Hinata said that he shouldn't kill him. Despite everything, she still thinks of him as family, but it was still gonna hurt. The match started as Neji could not even do anything. 3 punches, that was all it took. 3 devastating punches that had Neji coughing up so much blood. As he was defeated within seconds, the crowd was speechless. Asuma started to get even more worried. Naruto was more stronger than he thought. The brute, raw bruteness the way he attacked as well. As Jiraiya watched the kid carefully, as Asuma had spoken to him, and he was starting to get worried for Konoha, with the way that Naruto was acting at the moment. As Hiruzen noticed as well, but he was trying to play calm. The Raikage also noticed how brutal he was being. Sakura then went on to face off against Samui. Samui thought that Sakura was weak, but on the other hand, she almost lost. But Samui was still a bit stronger, but she still got pushed. As she was pushed to near defeat, Sakura showing her advancement because of the help that Naruto had given her. Sasuke then proceeded to face off against Darui and took him out. The match was a fast one. Sasuke has grown incredibly much, but Darui put up a good fight as well though. As Yujito made a bet with Naruto about their fight, as she looked towards a homicidal Gaara, who looked like he would just try to kill her the moment the match started. But instead of being afraid or scared, she was actually excited, looking forward toward this battle. While that was going on, the Red Light District was, well, that said red-headed guy was currently making a lot of changes, as he was teleporting the people from the Red Light District towards Uzu. A lot of them were being teleported at once, their items packed. As it was said, Naruto had a lot of changes for this world, and this guy was no normal guy as well, as he pulled on his hood. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the play, check it for yourself, and also remember to stay tuned for the rest of what it's going to read. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this new episode? Why don't we begin this now guys? We begin this episode Yujito and Gaara, as the both of them stood in the ring. Gaara had a devilish smirk on his face. His eyes were stuck on her. As he was just looking at her, his eyes looking quite crazy. You really are messed up in the head, aren't you? She asks. His smirk seemed to widen at that, despite the comment being, well, offensive towards him. You are just wasting my time, he said. But mother still desire your blood. Once I'm done with you, I'll go after the Uzumaki. As Gaara glanced up, as he had made his statement, the Uzumaki will be the one that will prove its existence. He was also known to be the son of Akagi, the fourth Akagi. And Gaara felt like it was fitting. The Uzumaki shall die by his hands, as that made him smirk and felt so much more happier than before. Yujito started to chuckle. Well then, big guy, she said. Let me show you why you shouldn't underestimate me. You should know, I'm stronger than the Uzumaki, she said. Gaara looked at her, as he tilted his head. I don't think so, he said. Well then, she said, let me show you. Begin! The match was announced to start. Up in the booth, as Naruto glanced down, his face was passive. Sasuke glanced towards him, but Sasuke said nothing, as he just watched the blonde. For once, Naruto was not smirking or looking rather happy. Instead, he was looking... Sasuke could not defy the look on his face. It was a mixture between a lot of emotions which were rather strange, given who he was looking at, but he wasn't sure what was going on. So he just remained quiet, not really saying anything, as he just stood there. It was then that it happened, as the two of them moved. Well, Gaara-san moved. Yujito on the other hand, she started to leap and twist in mid-air, dodging all of his attacks. She then proceeded to went through handstand, as she breathed out a massive stream of blue flames. Gaara-san came up as a block. It made contact with the intense flames, but his sand started to become brittle, as Yujito added 2 more pulses, causing his sand to become even more brittle, like it was turned into a form of glass, which it was. Her flames were just that intense. She then shot several mouse-like flame balls up in the air. Those things exploded into hundreds. Rest of the sand burst out of Gaara's gort, blocking him from above. Yujito smirked as she saw that. She then proceeded to go through handstand once again. Her body started to glow in an ominous blue. It covered her frame from head to toe as her nails then extended. Let me show you why you should never underestimate me, she said, as she stepped forward. Secret art, nails of death. The ground underneath her cracked as she shot forward, her body twisting mid-air like a gig. The massive ball of fire that was still making contact with Gaara-san. She dived right into it, shocking many people thinking that she would be burned alive. Consider what it was doing to Gaara-san. But they heard the shattering sound, like glass was shattering as her needles punctured through it. Gaara's eyes went wide, as his part of the sand was not affected from what he could see. But from in front of him, where Yujito had hit it with the fire, it was starting to turn brittle even more. So she was able to puncture through that. She break right through his guard, shocking many of the sand citizens that were there. Temari and Kankuro couldn't believe it, and not to mention him using the sand to protect his head. She stabbed right in his stomach as she was moving like a gig, like a buzzsaw, her nails tearing into him. Gaara released a blood-curdling scream that frightened many people. He screamed as many of them got horrified, as they couldn't really see what was going on there. It was like he was being torn clean through. Yujito jumped back, as when she did, a hand retracted. There was a hand that came from the fire and pushed the burned sand to the side. Gaara stood there clutching his stomach with his normal hand, but his other hand was covered. It looked like a deformed beast of a hand, with strange markings around it. Gaara brought his hand up. His hand was soaked with blood. Blood. Blood! He screamed out once again, even sounding more terrifying. What? The first time you seen your blood? Asked Yujito, as Gaara gripped his head as he started to go crazy. Huh. He really was psychotic. The Raikage looked down below. It seems that your son is not rather stable, is he? The Raikage said towards the Kazekage. Oh, my son will be just fine, the Kazekage said, smirking under his veil. Well, it doesn't matter. This match will go to Yujito. Hiruzen was about to say something, but Orochimaru knew that it was time. He couldn't afford to wait anymore, as he gave the signal. It was then that they started to fall after Kabuto went through hand sign. Feathers started to fall. Sasuke found himself getting sleepy, confused by what was going on, until he was slapped on the back by Naruto. Sasuke looked around confused. What's going on? As Naruto gestured towards the far wall, and an explosion resonated through the area. Massive snakes started to enter said village. What the hell, said Sasuke. As Naruto grinned, it's a full-on invasion. He turned his head as his eyes met with Temari, as she and Kankuro leaped through the window, as Naruto watched as they jumped down. Sasuke looked at him. We have to do something as he moved, but Naruto grabbed his hand. Easy, Sasuke, said Naruto as he saw the others making their way down. Do you remember what I told you? Of course, said Sasuke. Well then, be ready. The others are. Sasuke nodded his head before he jumped down, as Naruto gave him the go-ahead. As he landed, Kakashi saw Sasuke looking, as 3 ninjas arrived, only for Sasuke to duck under their swipe. He then proceeded to knock their blades away with his own, and mercilessly killed them without a second glance. These ninjas were not that powerful, and the 15-year-old Sasuke could body them by himself. Well, probably not all, yet. As Kakashi saw Naruto glancing over the entire place, not doing anything, Asuma also saw that. He shouted, "Why are you just standing there?" he said. "You should be protecting your village." Or perhaps what, said Naruto, cutting him off. As he jumped down, the moment his feet made contact, it cracked. Can't I take in the serenity before jumping into war? After all, I'm gonna be going after the big fish over there, said Naruto as he pointed towards escaping Gaara. Kakashi, you and the other Jonin should handle things here. We will handle the one-tails. Naruto, as Naruto looked towards him, as Hanoka appeared by his side. You don't have to worry about anything, said Naruto, as he patted Hanoka on the head that frowned. I told you to stop doing that, she said. Come on, it fits, said Naruto, given my height and all, as Haku appeared beside him. Naruto-sama is quite tall, Haku said. See, Haku agreed with me. I never said I agree with you, Naruto-sama, Haku said. Come on, Haku, you're one of the few people I can count on. As he pouted, enough of this, Asuma said. Get to work. As Naruto tilted his head. Screw you. What? Said Asuma. You heard me. What makes you believe that you can order me around? Don't say it's because you're a Jonin and all that, because we both know I don't give a damn. Naruto, this is no time for this, Kakashi. We need to, I know, said Naruto. I respect you, Kakashi, so you have nothing to worry about. Alright guys, let's move out. As he moved off with the two girls, Kurina watched him as he leave. Do you think he will be enough to handle them? She asks. Asuma frowned at that, but he said nothing. He will be just fine, said Kakashi as he watched Naruto leave. On top of one of the roof, there was a man standing there. As he was just standing there unmoving, an Anvu saw him as he dropped down. Identify yourself, the Anvu said, as he couldn't see who it was, but the chakra felt strange. The man glanced towards the Anvu. He was wearing a mask. The Anvu could see the patch of red hair coming out of his cloak, and he was also wearing a red mask. The eye holes were slanted. There was nothing for the mouth. As he tilted his head, the man then moved. The Anvu tried to step back, but he found himself touched. What the hell? It shouldn't be humanly possible for him to reach him, to cover the distance in that short amount of... The Anvu found himself silent, as the man started to hit him over his body. No, he was not hitting him. What was he... The Anvu found his chest tighten, as strange markings spread over him. The next thing he knew, his eye sockets exploded. His whole body lit up with flames, as he was burned into nothingness. The man then raised his hand. It seems I got a bit carried away, he thought to himself, before he shrugged and returned back to what he was doing. Meanwhile, the Raikage was standing there watching everything, as Darui, who had his shoulder patched up along with Samui and Yujito and his guards arrived. Sir, what should we do? Said Yujito. As the Raikage stood there, his back was turned. That is when he felt a kunai coming towards him from one of the enemy ninjas. The guard behind him slashed the kunai in half. As the Raikage glanced towards, the sound ninja that started to sweat when their gaze turned towards him as he started to back away, only for the Raikage to reappear behind him and grab his skull and proceed to bash it into the earth. I was just formally attacked by this invasion. He saw this as a huge selling point for the future, especially regarding that child of the Namikaze. Proceed to help Konoha, he said. Yes sir, they said as they all moved out. The Raikage cracked his neck as he flexed a bit. He was looking for a good fight. Meanwhile, stuck inside of said prison, Hiruzen saw that happen down below. As he smirked to himself, it's good to laugh, knowing that you will die soon. You should let it all out. As Orochimaru watched him, but his sensei did not give him the reaction he wanted. He simply looked at him with a blank look. How far you have fallen, my prized student. But no longer will I keep this disappointment I made all those years ago. I will end this once and for all, as he ripped off his Kage clothing, showing that he was in his battle armor, always ready as usual. Well, I'm glad. Wouldn't want you to die in that clothing. Prefer you die as a warrior. It's only fitting for a man of your stature, and you would be quite amusing. Now, let us bring up the main event, shall we? Edo Tensei. Hiruzen's eyes went wide hearing that. Meanwhile, that was going on, as Naruto jumped through the bushes at a leisure pace. Hanoka and Haku by his side, they were in no rush. They're taking really long, aren't they? Said Naruto. As he started to flare his chakra, Gaara felt his chakra. As he smirked at that. You two handle the other, said Naruto. I'll go after the big guy. After all, have to make it a spectacular show. I suppose you're right, said Hanoka. Be careful. As Naruto glanced towards her. What? I know you, she said. You want to put on a show this time. It's fitting for the situation, but your shows don't usually end up with you coming out fully alright, especially. Remember what happened that time? It was a new jutsu, said Naruto. Things don't go as you planned. Yes. And you remember what happened to you, correct? Sometime your regenerating abilities amaze me. It's almost like you're immortal, she said. Who knows, said Naruto. You aren't, right, Naruto-sama? Haku asked. Nah, not really, said Naruto. There's just so much to help me heal, so the regenerating ability is quite fast. Then we went over this already. As she thought about it. Actually, no. Huh. That's weird, said Naruto. As Gaara stopped, forcing his two teammates to stop as well. As he seemed to be still bleeding, Shikaku sure takes a long time to heal his opponent. Temari, go. I'll stop them, said Kankuro. Kankuro, I said go, he shouted at her. Fine, but you better come back alive, or else. He smirked, of course I will, as he pulled out his scroll, summoning his puppets. As the group came to a stop in front of him, I'm afraid you guys aren't going anywhere. Get out of the way, said Naruto, before I make you. As Kankuro chuckled, well then, it seems like we're at an inn. Before he could say impasse, Naruto appeared beside him. As Naruto slapped him off the tree, backhanding him towards the ground. I'll handle this one, Haku said. As she stood there waiting for him to get up, Kankuro cursed. He held onto his cheek, spitting out blood out of his mouth. Damn, he's fast. He tried to send his puppets forward, but they were almost skewered by a massive spear of ice. Your fight is with me, Haku said. Meanwhile, enough, Gaara said, pushing Temari away. Temari cursed as she pulled out her fan, seeing that they were close. Wind style, wind side jutsu. Hanuka leaped forward. As she went through hand signs before, she brought her hand up. For Winjutsu, she said, absorbing barrier. Upon saying that, a matrix spread around her palms. The wind style slammed right into it as she absorbed everything. And it was just gone. No return attack, she just absorbed it. To do what with it, unknown. I'll leave the rest of you, Naruto, she said. As Naruto nodded before, his feet started to pick up wind. As Temari noticed that, the next thing she knew, he blasted over her head, not even paying her attention as he landed in front of Gaara. Before she could retort, a chain grabbed her hand. She looked down towards the ground where the chain came from and yanked her forward towards Hanoka. Hanoka then proceeded to punch her right in the face, decking her as she hit the ground. That fight doesn't concern you anymore. You're gonna be fighting me from now on. Meanwhile, you don't look so good, Gaara. Uzumaki, said Gaara, as Naruto rested a hand on his shoulder. His hand did not come up. Wait, what the hell? How was his hand on his shoulder right now? Wasn't he? Gaara's hand came up and grabbed Naruto and crushed him. Wow, said the real Naruto, as his clone got crushed. You're indeed angry, aren't you? I mean, going for the crushing blow that easily. Gaara started to chuckle. I thought that I wouldn't get the chance to kill you myself, to prove myself. But I assure you, Uzumaki, you come here was a big mistake, because now, sand covered half of Gaara's face. I'm gonna kill you, he said, as Naruto spread his arms in a welcome gesture. Well then, try your best, he said, as Gaara shot his hand forward. Naruto's hand started to visibly glow. He then pulled his fist back and punched the air. Without even touching Gaara, the sand exploded just from the raw air pressure alone. Shocking Gaara, the sand was pulverized. Naruto then proceeded to throw both of his fists forward. Gaara found himself through several trees before he regained his balance. He looked up as Naruto stood above him, his fist raised to the sky. It then came down. The entire ground shattered. A massive spreading out explosion. When the smoke and dust cleared, Gaara lay in it. The sand dropping off his body, his eyes closed. They suddenly snapped open as a sand covered arm grabbed Naruto and started to smash him into the ground. Come on, said Carnage. It's my turn, you promised me this. Fine, said Naruto. Remember, do not kill him. Yeah, I know, said Carnage with a smile. Suddenly, Naruto's body was enveloped by the symbiote. It didn't take long for the sand to explode as Naruto emerged. Gaara tilted his head. What's this? What are you? Is that the power of the Kyuubi, he asked. No, the voice that came out was not Naruto's. I'm not that overgrown, sized bunny. As it was a growl in Naruto's head from Kurama, but he said nothing more. My name is Carnage. Nice to meet ya. I don't have a lot of time to do this, so do not disappoint me, okay? I don't know what you're doing, Uzumaki, said Gaara, but it will not work. I shall... Gaara was confused. Why was he in mid-air? Why was his sand not reacting? Why was blood coming from his mouth? Why was he now face first on the ground? Why was there a cracking sound? Why did something hit him with so force that his eyes went dazzle? Carnage was screaming in delight as his body was producing at least 100 arms out of all sections, all over, even his toes, as he was pummeling Gaara in the ground. Gaara screamed out in pain as Carnage was laughing in delight until Naruto took back control. I told you not to try and kill him, said Naruto. Come on, he's tougher than that. Look at him, said Naruto. Gaara was a bloody mess on the ground. Carnage laughed. I guess I went a bit too far. Huh, thought he was tougher. As the sand exploded, shooting Naruto back as his body slammed through several trees before it finally came to a stop. The sand was not a normal one because it formed the giant form of the raccoon. Back in the village. I knew it. He screwed up, said Asuma. No, that thing had set its sights on the village. Hey, would you lay off? Uncle yelled at him. You think it's easy to fight a psychotic Jinchuriki? The Uzumakis are said to be the strongest seal master, and he has an Uzumaki with him, not to mention he's one as well. Why the hell can't he stop it? Why don't you go and fight it and find out? Said Uncle, as she snapped the neck of one of the sound ninjas. Asuma simply grumbled as he looked towards the massive beast that set its sights on Konoha. Gaara was in a state of completely unconsciousness before he even could react. Shikaku had taken over. Gaara could not even perform the jutsu to let him out, or go to sleep because he was just completely out cold. Shikaku was slowly mending his wounds, very slowly so, that he would not try to take back control. But he couldn't allow him to die on him, which he was doing at the moment. Lion free, Shikaku said. As he looked down, he saw everything from Gaara's eyes. You almost killed my container. If you had done that, it would have taken me so long to reform. I'm gonna kill you, as he looked down towards Naruto. Well, you're a big one, aren't you? Said Naruto. Shikaku opened his mouth as he slammed his stomach. Hanoka's eyes went wide as she saw the massive rush of death and devastation. She held on to the unconscious form of Temari as she raised a barrier, protecting herself. And Temari as well. Haku was the same as she created a massive crystal ice mirror. As she protected her and Conqueror, who was unconscious at the moment. The Sand siblings were easily taken out. They were just not on the same level as Hanoka and Haku. Meanwhile, Naruto's body was crushed. The wind attack literally forced him into the ground, but his knees would not bend. The ground underneath him burst at least 10 times, but his knees just wouldn't bend. As Naruto started to laugh. Even though you're the One Tails, your power is just truly amazing. But you should know, said Naruto as he brought his head up. You can't win. As Naruto's voice was echoing towards Shikaku, Shikaku snarled. A mere stupid human telling me I can't win. Alright human, let me... Shikaku was confused. How did he reach him so quickly? As Naruto had literally leaped. His speed with wind enhanced his flight. As he was now in front of Shikaku. As Naruto pulled his fist back, the air around his arm seemed like it was distorting. As the place started to tremble just from the release of chakra that was so much. It was then that Carnage, the symbiote, overtook his arm and grew so large. It literally dwarfed the face of Shikaku. Shikaku's eyes went wide as he tried to block, but despite the size, the speed that boosted was far faster. His body impacted at least several times. It was skipping before it came to a final crash. Shikaku frowned as he started to pick himself up, but that said arm was above him this time. Red flames covered said arm. Shikaku screamed when it made contact with his flesh. His sand body crystallizing as he was pushed into the earth. The entire village of Konoha shook A mass earthquake. Building windows start to break. Ninjas start to fall over because of the tremors. The place was shaking rather violently. Naruto was still above Shikaku, as he was floating down towards him using the wind to lessen his flight. As Naruto then raised his hand to the heavens, 3 arms came from his back from carnage. As Naruto created a miniature Rasengan, one of the arms put wind chakra inside, the other one put fire inside, and electricity started to gather around it from the other one. As Naruto started to apply more, and more, and more, and more. This is my first time using this. It's not complete yet, but I figure I'll give it a shot. Take this. Elemental Rasengan, said Naruto. The attack was blinding as the entire place went up in a massive explosion, fire, wind, electricity. Once the smoke cleared, Gaara was lying on the ground. The body of the Shikaku had literally crumbled under the weight. Shikaku would have reformed, but Naruto had placed a 2-finger touch on Gaara's forehead, marking him with a seal, allowing Gaara to wake up because of the fight and his body being secured by Sandy's wounds were mended. Gaara's eyes fluttered open. You, Uzumaki, he said in fright. You, no. He tried to back away, but Naruto reached forward and stopped him. Naruto placed a hand on his shoulder. Gaara was confused, as he thought he would kill him. But instead Gaara looked at him, and Naruto was showing a look of understanding. You're a Jinchuriki, so am I, said Naruto. I know what it means like to have a hard life. I too have a hard. It was a hard, miserable life, I have to tell you. It got to the point where I had to change my whole being to fit in. After all, I was never like this before. I used to be soft, kind, but then I realized, what's the point of being those way if people take you for granted? But you, on the other hand, you've been alone for so long you think that you're alone always. Gaara was confused. What do you mean? I'm the only one I can count on. No. Your brother and sister will literally die for you. After all, they're out here trying to protect you, knowing that the face they're facing is quite great, which is me, after all. Look around you. It was then Gaara noticed the devastation. So what? Are you gonna kill me now? No, said Naruto. Use this. Use this to change your life. I was watching you for some time now, said Naruto. And I knew the perfect way to help you. As Naruto held out his hand, he then shoved his hand into Gaara's stomach. Gaara cried out, unable to fight back. But instead of pain Gaara felt, all of his small bruises healing faster. As Naruto got to his feet, what did you do? Said Gaara. It will allow you to have his chakra for healing and use as well. And he will no longer take you like you're some rag doll. Lifting up his shirt, Gaara saw a new sealing matrix on his stomach. Confused and why? Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. But remember this, Gaara. As Gaara found his siblings at his side, as the both of them were unconscious, you have family to rely on. And after what happened today, also, another piece of advice. Konoha will never forget it. That confused Gaara as he wouldn't understand. Naruto knew that until a far distance. Why do this? Why save me? I wanted to kill you, said Gaara. But yet, as Naruto turned, as Hanoka and Haku were by his side. My precious people, Gaara, that is what makes you stronger. Those words seemed to have a lasting effect on Gaara. Precious people? As he looked toward the siblings. Remember what I did for you today. I hope, when I come back in the future for your help, I can get it. Said Naruto, and him and the girls move off. At that moment, Gaara's siblings started to wake up. Kankuro jumped to his feet. Where are they? As he looked around, Temari turned. Gaara, are you okay? She asked, looking him over. Gaara looked at her. You're worried, he said. Of course I am. Are you okay? She asked once again. Yes, I'm fine. Let's go home, he said. Conqueror looked down towards him. Where did they go? There's no concern at the moment. Let's just go, Gaara said, as he had a lot to think about. And with that, they left the village. Back in the stadium as Naruto arrived, Sasuke turned as the ninjas down here was getting thinner and thinner, until they were completely non-existent. See, what did I tell you, said Naruto. Had it all covered. Sasuke stepped forward. It was then that Kakashi turned as he noticed something, or rather someone. Sasuke, move! But it was too late. However this was, they drive a blade directly through Sasuke's back and through his chest. It was a good thing Sakura was not here after a fight with Samui and went to the hospital, otherwise this scene would literally break her. Asuma and the others turned their gaze after stopping fighting their opponents. Sasuke looked down towards his chest. The ninja then turned the blade as Sasuke's scream as fire enveloped his entire being, burning him into nothingness, leaving only a black smudge on the ground. Naruto's eyes lit up in rage. You, what have you done? As he jumped forward, he pulled his fist as he brought it down. Said ninja jumped back as Naruto's fist destroyed the entire center of the arena. Its mighty strength gathering a lot of attention. Smoke filled the entire place. When it died down, Naruto looked around. Where did he go? Where did he go? Suddenly, the ground underneath Naruto started to light up. Said ninja appeared like he teleported there and drive the sword through Naruto. As Naruto looked down, the people couldn't believe what they were seeing. The man twisted the blade and Naruto lit up in flames as he released a blood-curdling scream, shocking everyone over the arena. Anko's eyes went wide, tears gathered in her eyes. Kurenai, knowing the relationship, Anko leaped off. Anko, wait, Kurenai yelled, but it was too late. The three girls, Hanoka and Haku, their eyes lit up in rage as they attacked the man at once. Kakashi jumped down, but with a quick, brisk fight, the man cut all of them down, burned them to a crisp. Kakashi created a lightning blade and drive it forward. The man raised his hand as the attack slammed in his palm. No, there was something there. There had to be. There was no way someone could stop his attack like this. Kakashi felt his attack nullify. The man then proceeded to hit him in the stomach twice before he pulled the blade back, as he was about to drive it right through Kakashi. Lucky enough guy came and destroyed the place with a kick, nearly taking the man head off. Asuma threw his trench knife. The man jumped back as he stabbed in the ground. Kurenai flashed through hand sign, but the man breathed a massive flame towards her, forcing her to jump away so she wouldn't cast any genjutsu. He then looked at the others. I will be back, he said. For all of you, remember my words. All Konoha ninjas shall die. There will be no future prospect, no future heirs. I will slaughter them all. Who are you? Said Kakashi, wanting to at least know his attacker's identity. Think of me as another ghost of Konoha past that will rise to burn it all down. He slammed his chest and he was gone. Teleportation, maybe. As Kurenai made her way over. No, it can't be, she said as she looked at the black smudge on the ground. As Asuma watched her, she started to rack with tears. He went over and wrapped her arm around her shoulder as she saw him. She wanted to pull away, but she couldn't believe what just happened. The kid's just dying like that. And not to mention her close friend Anko, her best friend. Despite being angry at Asuma, she was just broken in tears. Kakashi's hands dropped to his side, as he literally felt their chakra extinguish, as he did not understand how. The ninja stood there rather shocked, speechless at the whole event. To make matters worse, when the barrier fell, their Hokage was dead. Everything was just so shocking and so fast. It was too much for some of them to bear. Time skip. It has been 1 week since the invasion of Konoha. Several prominent ninjas fallen. The Raikage and his group had returned back to, well, their village. Konoha did not entice the Raikage anymore. The reason why it enticed him so much was because of, well, Naruto, the son of the fort. From what he came by the lightning, it was rather, well, an enticing sight, but now, to find out that he was dead, that was rather off-putting. The Sun has not done anything to the village, as they have not talked to them yet except for sending a letter that they were tricked by Orochimaru. But Konoha was in the mood to talk right now. They lost a lot of people, and even as violent as Naruto was, he protected the village. He defeated the Shikaku and protected them all. Not to mention they lost the Uzumaki bloodline forever, and the Uchiha clan was gone. The last heir in Konoha for the Uchiha was dead. The news was rather shocking. People couldn't believe what they were hearing. It was a bit too much for them. For certain people. Sakura refused to believe that they were dead. Naruto came back once before. Yeah, that's right. He would come back again. The girl was in complete denial. Hinata did not shed a single tear. The girl just looked completely blank. In the hospital room she found out. The people that actually cared about Naruto and knew him very well, they couldn't believe what they heard. Sasuke was dead as well. One of their Kunoichi uncle, and those two girls that Naruto brought. And some more news was found out. When some people passed by the red light district, there was not a single soul there. But what they found though was rather alarming. Several bodies, but those bodies were burned to a crisp. They figured that it was the same man, seeing that it was written on the wall in blood, the ghost of Konoha. While no one was even paying attention, the man had went and slaughtered so much people in the village. It did not seem like he came with Orochimaru and other forces. Rumors spread quickly about this. There was also sightings of the man in the Fire Nation killing people. He was the enemy of the Leaf, and he was instantly placed on a threat level high. Seeing that he was able to completely stop Kakashi Lightning Blade with ease. How he did that was still a mystery, and not to mention, despite still being a genin, Naruto was a dangerous, powerful person, yet the man was fast enough to hit him with some sort of attraction, so he could teleport right towards his side. And those flames, they had been burned to crisp, leaving only dust. There was no blood, nothing, they were just burned alive. The blade was rather unique. It was a black sheath with a normal steel katana, but there were several red markings running through it, like literal flames. Other than that, there was a huge council meeting going on right now. Alright, everyone calm down. The voice of Homura said, we need to stabilize order. We all know that the Raikage decided to intervene and help us face off against the other two nations that attacked us. But this doesn't mean that we're allies or anything, as you can see that he left without any formal notice or anything else. So that shows that he's just here to fight for his own comrades once he got attacked. So we still have to have him on the back of our mind, as the people seem to agree. Furthermore, I know that we lost a lot of ninjas, but we need to focus on having Konoha with a proper leader right now, otherwise everything will just come crashing down. We need a new Hokage, the voice of Tatsumi said. Exactly. As the members started looking at each other. As Danzo was about to say something, but Jiraiya spoke. Tsunade Senju, he said. The members looked towards him. Lady Tsunade. The other members thought to themselves. Are you sure that you can get her back here? That woman has been gone for a very long time, Danzo said. What makes you believe that she has the right to become Hokage? She has the background, the bloodline. And she has what it takes, Jiraiya said. Jiraiya was serious. As Danzo noticed that, the man was not even looking at him, but the look on his face was a dangerous one. After all, he lost so much. He never got to know Naruto. And he lost his sensei. He felt like a complete failure. Are you even sure that you can get her back? I will. Once I bring her back, I just need a month. She will become Hokage. Well, if you believe you can do that, I believe that you should leave right now, Koharu said. It will be the best course of action so we don't waste much time. If it takes at least a month. I'll be departing right now, said Jiraiya, as he walked out of the room. The members going quiet for a second, knowing that the man lost a lot. But Danzo was angry. This was his chance. We need to think of something more suitable, because that woman has been gone for a long time, he said. I have no illusion that she'd want to come back to this village and take the lead role as Hokage. Danzo is right. But who else? As the members started to discuss amongst themselves inside the room, Hinata sat by herself. She was in her bedroom. She was still wearing bandages from her match with Neji, where she was almost killed. But she was getting better. Her eyes were distant, as she just sat there. Before she lay back on the bed, there was a calm yet sinister presence coming from her. This was the second time. He couldn't be dead, right? From what everyone said, but they saw it with their own eyes. Him being burned to flames. He couldn't be dead, right? As she closed her eyes, she didn't feel like she could cry anymore. From the time when she found out that he was dead when he fell off the bridge, she cried. And it changed her. But now hearing that, she was just hoping for him to pop up and saying that it was a joke, with him smiling, but this was no joke. Her eyes eventually closed, as she found herself in a strange location, confused to where she was. As she thought that she had just closed her eyes, but now she was in a strange grassy field. Hey, Hinata. Hinata spun around. Her eyes went wide in shock, as Naruto was standing there. Meanwhile, Sakura lying in her bed. It was nighttime. She hadn't had much talk with the others since the funeral. Their name was written on the monument, but there was no body to bury. Sakura felt so angry. When she was coming home, she heard a few people saying that, well, at least the demon was dead. Despite losing Naruto, she heard people saying that. She wanted to just punch her head clean off, but she restrained herself. But she refused to believe that he was actually dead. He came back once before, but Kakashi was trying to make her understand that he was gone, but she still refused. She still refused to believe it. As she closed her eyes, sleep was her only thought right now. Sasuke was gone as well. She didn't understand. The two of them were like her second family. She loved Sasuke, and lately she noticed that he was noticing her as well. Because of her hard work, her training that she just needed to pull off in the first place. And Naruto was like an older brother to her. He helped her in so much ways that he couldn't even imagine. And they were just, no, she refused to believe it. As the tears came to her eyes, she blinked them away. They were just somewhere else. Yeah, they will be back very soon, she thought to herself. As she fell asleep, Sakura found herself in a grassy field. As she was confused what was going on. Sakura. She felt two people approach her. As she turned, her eyes went wide in shock. How was this possible? She was dreaming as she pinched herself, but it felt so real. What's going on? Standing there was Naruto and Sasuke. This must be a dream, she thought to herself. Meanwhile, Kuruna couldn't believe that she lost so much. She had collected her thoughts and stepped away from Asuma because she noticed that the man was actually happy about Naruto's death. From the way he carried himself, he was happy. Him and all the people that hated Naruto in the village. Kuruna didn't know what came over her, but the time that she spent with Naruto, she actually started to grow attracted to him. But she knew that something like that couldn't happen. For one, he was younger than her. Well, not by that much, but still. And she was a sensei-like to him, seeing that she was teaching him in jutsu and all. But still, she lost him. And not to mention, she lost Uncle. Uncle was her best friend through and through, and she was now gone. And she would never see her again. As she lowered her head, as she fell asleep, she found herself in a grassy field, confused what was going on. As she came face to face with Naruto and Anko. This must be a dream, she thought to herself. It has to be. It must. Am I dreaming? She said. No, Nai-chan, Anko said. But there's something that you need to know. That confused Kurenai. She wasn't dreaming, she thought to herself. Time skip. Another week has passed, nothing has happened. Nothing has happened, no rumors about anything. Naruto and the others were dead, despite that strange coincidence that happened between the other girls. No rumors had come out. And those girls were loyal to Konoha, but still, nothing yet. Danzo was still trying to make his control over Konoha by making some movements in the council, but still, things were not going his way yet, until Tsunade arrived. But there was one person that the news affected a lot more than anyone else within Konoha. Not regarding Naruto. Well, it did regard Naruto, but not to this person. Itachi Uchiha was at a loss. He was at a complete loss. A man has nothing left. That made him the most dangerous when you had nothing left to live for. That made you a literal pariah. A monster. Because you could do anything you want. No repercussions, nothing. And at the moment, Itachi has nothing left. His brother was dead. The only reason why he was not leaving the Akatsuki right now was because the Akatsuki can gather information quickly. And he wanted information about that person. Yes, he wanted information about that person that killed his brother. He knew it was selfish of him to get revenge for Sasuke, even though he's never been there for him in his life. But he just felt like it was his obligation to hunt this person down and murder him. Itachi would not rest, he would not stop until he find this person and kill him. The Akatsuki will also have to go on a break for some time, given that Nine Tails was now dead. But still, he would hunt this person to the end of the earth, and he would lit their soul aflame with the Amaterasu, and he would not stop until there was nothing left. The man felt utterly broken. His one dream, his one desire for his brother to get his revenge and be seen as a hero was now shattered. No hopes of that ever returning. He was broken. All it was right now was a dead man. Itachi Uchiha was dead inside and out right now. Completely. Time skip. Nagito frowned. This was bad news. They will have to wait years for Nine Tails to reform. But at least this was better. It was said that the son of Minato Namikaze was getting stronger by the day. Who knows how strong he will be by the time they were ready to capture him. So it was a good thing that Nine Tails was now in the open. It will be easier to capture once it reformed and Zetsu found it. But it will take a while, so the Akatsuki has to go into hiatus for the moment. But also this new development, well, it surprised him. Someone was going around killing beasts. Well, he did not exactly know if that was a true reason, but this person. They must have known who Naruto was by now. After all, his name was well known. And the person that killed him and the last Uchiha, that was within Konoha. As this person, he didn't know who he was, and he didn't like surprises. But Zetsu had no idea who this person was. So they were blind in that section. But Itachi wanted to know who he was. Despite killing his entire clan, it seems like he wanted to kill his brother, murder as well. Nagito had no faults about that after all. He had decimated Hanzo, entire population. He had removed everyone that was linked to Hanzo because of what Hanzo did to his friend Yaiko. He had removed all of them from the face of the earth. Anyone that even cared for the man, he had removed them. So he was not one to talk. But still, it was really angering that they will have to wait for so long for the Nine Tails to reform. Meanwhile, a man with dark hair was walking. Beside him there was a girl. She had blonde hair, and she was wearing a purple top with a black and orange skirt with shorts underneath. The man was dressed in a obi of sorts, a blue one that wrapped around him as he was wearing blue pants. The girl was looking around in wonders. "You seem surprised," he said. Well, it's just I've never been to this area before. And the time that he met you, I wasn't there, remember? Oh yes. This will be your first time meeting him, is it not? What is he like, master? I told you to stop calling me that. How about Utakata-sama then? The man seemed to frown. Hodru, you can call me by my name. It just doesn't seem fitting, she said. I mean, you are the one that trained me. He sighed, knowing that she wouldn't change her mind, seeing the look on her face. Well, I guess you have to meet him to find out. He's a peculiar person, but you'll understand once you see him. As two people stood in front of a massive door, they noticed Utakata. They proceeded to push open the doors. Inside was well lit. There was a red carpet leading up to a throne. Hodru looked up towards the man that was sitting on said throne. Black pants. He was wearing a strange red shirt that it looked strange to her. There was just something about it she couldn't explain. He was wearing a hat on his head. A hat for Kage. He seemed to be wearing some kind of armor underneath his clothing, seen from his spots, especially his arms. They stopped in front of said throne as Utakata bowed his head, causing Hodru to do the same. Utakata then looked back up. I see you have finally come, Naruto-sama, he said. What kind of leader would I be if I left my people for too long? Well, I'm sure that all of them are happy to know that you're finally here. I was waiting for you to greet the populace, said Naruto. The others are already out there. Oh, sorry for my lateness. My apprentice here wanted to meet you. As Hodru blushed, Utakata put her on the spot like that. It's a pleasure to meet you, Uzukage-sama, she said, as she bowed her head once more. She then felt a hand on her shoulder. She was confused. As she looked up to see that it was him, he looked like he was probably 16 or 17. But when did he move from the throne? It's nice to meet you as well, Hodru. Hodru was surprised. You know my name? Of course. What kind of Kage would I be if I didn't know my subordinates? The gaze in his eyes was so intense it made her blush. It's a pleasure, she said once again, feeling a bit awkward now. As Naruto nodded his head. Come, Utakata, he said. As they start to walk, Utakata looked towards Hodru. Come, but you have to stay behind. She didn't understand what he meant, but she followed behind him. Realizing that he went through a side. Upon going through said side, it was then that she heard the voices down below. She looked over as she saw the thousands of people down there. As she stepped back, he gave her a nod to stay there. Several other people were standing there. As she looked towards the two red-headed men, one to Naruto's left and one to his right. One of them had a strange sword on his back. She looked towards the other red-headed woman, and the dark-haired one. As Naruto stepped into the center, Utakata by his side. And there was another woman as well, with mint green hair. As Naruto looked over his people, the moment they saw him, the place erupted in cheers. Uzukage-sama, they shouted. The people seemed to love, immensely love their Uzukage. Pride and cheers on their faces. Down below was people mixed from all different clans and all different areas. Most of them being from special clans, making them incredibly rare to this world. Clans that were discarded through a time. Clans that remained by themselves, now united under one banner. As Naruto glanced over at Uza. It has finally begun, he thought to himself. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see this person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.